Salute everybody. Salute to you. I appreciate you joining in. Just had some technical difficulty. Whatever you do, make sure you do not have StreamYard as a carrier. Shit is straight up garbage. And they do this thing where they don't give the notifications. And I don't know why they do that. It's very annoying. It is extremely annoying. Definitely one of those. It's such a shame because technology is going to have its hangups and it is what it is. But when it's not done right and you pay for it, it really, really, really could be annoying. So I'm definitely going to have to complain about this. This shit is garbage. Salute to everybody. How you doing? Salute to you, man. Oh my God. Yeah. It's that, and every now and then we have to do a duty. It's an important duty to, be in the midst of love and learning and teaching and learning and all those amazing things that we take for granted. Um, like I said, this software is not working, and it gets annoying when it does this. So please be mindful of what's happening here. Shout out to VM. I appreciate you, darling. God damn. Good Lord. But you know what? At the end of the day, it works. I got to continue to do what I got to do. Shout out to VM. She just left a message on one of my last videos, man. And I appreciate her so much. This, see, oh, man. I really wish I lived in a world where I could really love my brothers. I'm serious. Like, I really wish I could. I really wish I genuinely love my fellow black brothers the way I do my black woman or woman, period. I know that's a little biased, but you know why? I just did a live stream on the podcast. Salute to all my podcast carriers, man. You guys are just fucking dope. You guys are dope. I love you all. You show a lot of love. You show a lot of support, and you let us be free. I wish YouTube was the way. I wish YouTube. Shit. I wish my stream. Right. I wish my streaming software was just as good as YouTube, and I wish YouTube was just as good as Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Because the shit is all garbage. Oh my God. It is painfully terrible. And I say that to say because, when you're doing streams, you need a real good, like, you got to ask the questions like, do you guys give the notification? When the video's done, does it go directly up? StreamYard does this thing, man. It is so annoying that they actually post the video a day up. Shout out to Marcel. Did you get a notification for this? Let me know real quick. Yeah, they should be locked up. But you got to realize that shit that goes on, Marcel, in them countries, that's been happening. It's, if you, listen, I be on these community boards, well, people that I know be putting me on. And that shit been happening. Yeah, that's what they do. You got to think about it like this. The only difference with these guys, they ain't your typical thugs. They're a different type of level of low graded niggas, It's like a level of men that you remember, well, I can't use you as that. Let me use myself. When you was in school, there was always like the corny nigga. And then it was like the corny nigga, the nigga that just wasn't, get out of here, we'll beat you up. A lot of these guys now are in these countries. Like I have a friend now that's a passport, bro, right? And I knew the brother for years. And it's so sad because he's the type of brother that really gives me an insight on what's going on. I'll say this. The deal with my boy, he's one of them dudes that well, according to his logic, he says that he goes out to these countries so profusely and crazy and somewhat desperate because he did 10 years in jail. He's trying to make up for lost time. Right. So at least he's saying somewhat of some motor honesty. He did do 10 years. Okay. You can never get that time back. For a man, generally that was a cornball from, let's just say, birth to about, I ain't gonna say birth, that birth's a little disrespectful. Let's just say 10 years old to like 30. And then he finally found something to be part of. He's not gonna know how to act. I mean, again, this is the raw truth, you understand? And with that being the raw truth, you're gonna have to actually somewhat kind of understand his layout. Like his way of thinking, he doesn't know how to act because he didn't have it when he was supposed to. The thing is with the truth, when you know the deal, nobody could tell you nothing. See, I know the truth about these guys. I know these guys are all losers. Now, I'm not saying they broke. A lot of these guys are very successful. Most predators are successful people. Most sex predators, whatever they call it, I hate that word, mongering, but most of these guys are successful. They're not low, you know what I'm saying? They got good jobs, shit like that. The problems with a lot of these brothers is they're not telling you the truth that I was a total fucking loser all my life. And now I got the ability to go find the promised land, so to speak. And that's why they're out there. See, again, I can't be deceived with that because I know the truth. You understand? That's why I don't get into it with these niggas. I just wish them the worst. I don't wish them the best. I wish they all get fucked over. I do. I'm not the type of guy that I wish them all the best. I don't wish nobody the best that I don't like. I don't miss nobody the best that I like. I like to see motherfuckers fail. Now, I don't like to see a good person fail. I like to see that fucking piece of garbage fail. I love the look on their faces. And the one thing is what I noticed that's very much of a sad part. Nobody understands the simple logic of how the man and woman think. And the men from America that know what I'm talking about, there's not a lot of us, you understand? There's a few, and I say players in the game, meaning like there's some real men that understand the anatomy of a woman's mind. And whether he likes it or not, he respects it. Like, hey, that's just how they are. Versus, no, it's unacceptable. And then, that's the loser guy that we don't really condone him. We don't fuck with him. He's a piece of trash. So we're not in the same groups together. Basically, what I'm just basically telling you, you're never going to see a group of elite male going out to these countries ever again. At least no time soon. Because they're out there. So let's just say the elite male, he has a job. Maybe he's a police officer. Maybe he's, I don't know, maybe he's in industrial shit. But he's low-key smooth about his business. Ain't really the type of guy to put shit out on Front Street. Then you got the guy that's the lawyer. He got a professional, a doctor, and he's out there and he lost his fucking mind. So you have two different guys. Like and nobody's bumming. You got to sprinkle some bum ass niggas that go out there, but for the most part, niggas got a job or a career. That's not the issue. The issue is two different classes of niggas. And there's guys out there that's on the level of elite male, and they go out there and they play these games and do what they do, and they keep it pushing. And then you got the guy that he just goes out there and it's like, oh man, you. So when you see him out there, you don't go out there. Like that's when you just don't go out there ever again. It's even worse because now you got a slew of your neighbors that you don't even deal with. And now you come out there, these niggas is in the same club, same restaurant, shit. Like I'm never coming back to this shit. So elite men are real big on that. The professional, he just has a problem with the thug dude. He just hates him across the board. So when he's out there, he just doesn't want to fucking look at him. But once again, he doesn't have that issue with our group. We have that issue with his group because we don't want to be near him. Because for multiple reasons. Number one, they're corny. Number two, we don't want the woman to ever get it mixed up that we're them. And they actually know the difference. They do. Because with women, they know the difference. See, these guys are what you call goofy. And they don't fulfill the logic that a woman needs to receive. For example, elite male, he's going by his eyes. Whether he falls in love or he just wants to smash something, it's all about the eyes, right? But he knows how to disperse and kick that shit. In other words, if he's elite, in most cases, she may even fall in love with the nigga. Because he knows how to come to him. Like he knows how to he knows how to get in her mind. Whether he speaks Spanish or not, he could serenade her. This is before Google Voice and all that bullshit and translator. He knows how to treat her like something because she falls in love through her ears. So what's happening with the goofball, shout out to Don't Panic. Yeah, I had to come back real quick and put this out. Did you get a notification? Let me know if you got a notification because I don't know if my shit, it's just doing it now. The shit is doing some dumb shit. So let me know if you got a notification. So with the goofy, he's trying to wife her because he falls in love through his eyes. So he ain't just trying to wife it, and he's trying to make her fall in love through his sex delivery. So that don't work with her because he's just hitting it. Ain't no big fucking deal. Like he can't even communicate with her. It's not even the fact that he can't speak Spanish. Even if he spoke Spanish, he still can't he can't communicate with her because all he got to talk about is his fucking job, career back at home, and his house and car. He doesn't have nothing for her other than for him to use her. For her to use him. So, case in point, if you look at the thumbnail, I sometimes I change my thumbnails because sometimes I have a thumbnail that I have in my archive, like I need to use this. So this thumbnail you see is Ronald Isley and his wife. Now Ronald Isley is like 80 years old plus, and I almost said his daughter, but his wife is clearly like half his age, right? Give or take half his age. Shout out to VM. So the thing is with that particular relationship, knowing Ronald Isley, the man in the mirror, the man who he is, oh, y'all didn't get a notification. Okay, so this is pretty good. Y'all didn't even get a notification. Y'all here live because this piece of shit fucking software, this shit is garbage. I can't stand StreamYard. I need to switch this shit. This shit is trash. I want to destroy them when I finish with the comments. So anyway, on my Instagram, let me give you my Instagram. So my Instagram is right here. Okay, that's my Insta. Um, hold on. Yes, on the bottom. See, Accidental TV. So the thing is, connecting the past, the thing I just did last, right? Um, Truth will protect you from deception. So the truth about these bros that go to these foreign countries, they can't deceive me because I know who they are. I went to school with niggas like this. I grew up around niggas like this. We terrorize these goofy niggas. These are niggas that just could never be around the in crowd because they always was whack. So she said Ronald Isley's granddaughter. Hold on. Yo, salute to NBA City. What up, player? Um, let me just tell you this deal with. Let me get to the Ronald Isley thing. The deal was with Ronald Isley. Knowing that Ronald Isley is not your average older man, there may be a mode that he actually kicked that shit into her ears. I'm not gonna put it all on money. I'm that plays a part, but I truly believe Ronald Isley is that nigga. He has to be. He's Ronald. He has to be. So according to that thumbnail, I can feel that he's clearly not the goofy nigga. I know a lot of women may not like it because they're like, damn, look at this old ass nigga with this young. But I told y'all to do that. I told y'all to get older man. I said, if you want to feel, you know, y'all think too deep and start talking death. And then, yeah, I mean, hey, I know people that have had older men and the woman died. So you got to be careful with that. You know, tomorrow's not promised to none of us. You just don't know. And ask the thing on TV. Yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. That's my Instagram. Ask Nathaniel TV. It's right on the bottom. It's there. So move it along, right? Ronald Isley is an elite man. You just can't take that away. I can't just look at. See, we can't look at the current situation and forget about what got him there. See, I'm into what got him there. So that nigga's a living legend. So believe me when I tell you, he kicks that shit. And that's why his wife is so fucking bad, even at his age. You understand? So we don't pay attention in a nutshell to the goofy nigga. But we pay attention to when he's terrorizing shit and messing shit up. So you got to know the deal of how a man and a woman think. And when you understand it, you have to understand it. Because to understand it is to accept it, right? Because you understand. And that's why they know a man falls in love through his eyes, a woman falls in love through her ears. You know, I know women now that literally, especially women that fucked up relationships. We talk about relationships where the guy just totally fucked their lives up. You know those relationships. She had a baby and it ruined her life. Not saying a baby per se, but she had a baby from this particular guy that fucked her whole life up. Y'all know a lot of those. You know a woman that could have really been in big special places and or they should have been married by now and they just could because they deal with they receive that word in the worst way. I lost a lot of homegirls in a nutshell. So I'm going to put that with family. I'm going to put that with cousins. I lost a lot of females in my life through who they fell in love with through their ears. Because when a woman falls in love with her through her ears, that's like telling a man that falls in love through his eyes that what he's seeing is not legit. You can't tell a man that falls in love through his eyes that this bitch is a dirty hoe, because it don't matter. He's physically could see where she is. He ain't hearing. So it's the same way with a woman. If she falls in love with a man through her ears, she ain't trying to hear nothing. As a matter of fact, once she tells you that there's issues, you have to say, how do you feel about them? oh, I love him. I'm like, oh, okay. And just listen to her because ain't nothing you could do. It's too late. You understand? So now a man may think the same thing. It's like, well, a man falls in love through his eyes. I'm like, well, a man is visual. So it's not too, when a motherfucker is into what he got, whether he pussy whipped or he got the baddest shit he ever seen in his life, I don't give a fuck what you tell that nigga. It's, once he's in love with that, there's nothing you could tell him. Only thing that could break that relationship up is he has to be taken away from her because he ain't gonna leave her. You understand? He ain't gonna necessarily leave her because he fell in love with her through his eyes. Now, I'm not saying necessarily he ain't gonna cheat and do whatever, but he's still gonna be there. A woman, on the other hand, she's receptive, and this is like the one thing that a lot of women from different countries don't have, especially when they don't speak the language. But a woman here, she takes what a man says, promises, things that we can do, how I feel about you, all those shit could be lies, right? So she's gonna receive that, and it's gonna go. That is her downfall. Cause not saying she's not visual either, but the ears is a motherfucker. Cause if a nigga got the tongue and he got a mouthpiece, forget it. He's unstoppable because that is his match. Like I told you the other day, how a match to a very nasty, if a black man wants a nasty woman that's just as filthy as him, he got to get a white girl. A black woman could never back up and do what a white girl does because white girls going to do shit that only white people know. You understand? So the more and more we try to analyze these two different things versus understanding it, you understand? We analyze, but we're supposed to understand it. A woman, you could really kick it to a woman in a vulnerable situation and make it more vulnerable. Like one thing I never do, well, in my older years, I tried not to talk to a married woman because it was so easy, or a woman in long relationships because they are more vulnerable through their ears and heart. It's like ear, nose, and throat doctor, but that ears and heart, they work together. And you boldly have to disrespect the husband or boyfriend because you just be like, man, if I was your husband, I don't give a fuck. You wouldn't even be out this late. You would be the happiest woman alive. Oh, I am the happiest woman. No, you're not. You know what I'm saying? You could really beat her in the head with that shit, and you could keep beating her until you get in them motherfucking ears, and bang, it hits the heart, and it's a wrap. She won't even love her husband anymore. Because the thing is, with a woman, she can't love 2-3 niggas. A man could love 2-3 different women because he can just be visually. If a motherfucker has just got 3 baddies and he just love all 3 of them, you know what I mean? He gonna want one more than less or whatever, but it's still the same thing. So when you understand that the visual on a man is powerful, and the game piece on a woman receiving is just as powerful, you get a better understanding of how people are. There's not too many men that can relate to understanding the logic of how a woman is when she receives love through her ears. But then that same man, the elite male, as rare as he is, he knows how the man falls in love through his eyes as well. So he knows how to play that game on both sides, which is great because he knows how to say, all right, this is his main shit, and these is his other 2 chicks. He not letting go nobody. But he's got his main and he got a couple other joints, you know what I'm saying? That's how he's gonna break that down, right? I know it's not right, but this is how his mindset is. You being a woman and you loving through your ears, that's just unacceptable. You understand? So like it doesn't mix. So basically, if a goofball is in another country like Colombia, he fell in love with a woman through his eyes, all she gotta do, believe it or not, she just gotta kick the shit through his ears if she wanna add a little bit of zest to that. Cause he already fell in love with her through her looks. So now she just gotta kick that shit. And I love you. And that's how these niggas get all fucked up. You understand? So even in the real world, I call it America, right? Let's just say you fall in love with a girl on her looks and you fucking around behind your wife's back or whatever. And this woman that you actually admire past, with your wife, now you got a dilemma because now you got two women you in love with. You see what I'm saying? Like he ain't gonna let it go. He just gonna make sure he got number one and number two, and that's just how it is. So that's the negative side of it. Now, if a man fell in love through his ears, and if a woman fell in love through her eyes, we almost believe it's like that. Like most guys think it's like that. That's why they think they got to look a certain way. But they don't understand that in most cases, people's mindsets are extremely different because even if we switch that, biologically it just won't allow because men are not that internal. And if he is, that means he's either a deliverer, like a player, like a nigga that know how to do it, or he a sucker for love because he gonna believe he fell in love with the way she looked. Now she's in his ears and now he's all fucked up. You understand? So, meanwhile the player's like, yo, she's in my ears, but I'm never leaving my wife. You understand? So he keeps shit in the perspective a little better. But when you understand this logic, it's the same thing that I talked about in my previous video to this, where I said, truth will protect you from deception. This is the truth. So nobody could deceive me with this because I'm aware of it. Do you understand? So that's why it's important that even with the truth, you got to look at what's false could be the truth. What a lie could be the truth. Because if you see a person that is a liar and you want the truth out of them, no, the truth is that they're a liar. And you got to know that. You don't need to know. This is not a situation where you have to be acknowledged 100,000% or notified every time. It's just the same way how the software didn't notify my guest, but my guest is still here. So fuck the software, right? But it's also knowing your strength and your weaknesses, right? It is highly important for you as an individual to know your ground. You can't think like a man and a man can't think like a woman. However, he could understand a woman and you can understand a man. It's harder for you to understand a man because as a woman, you fall in love through your ears. So your shit is more internal. Our shit is more external. And it's true. We have penises, you have pussies. So, a pussy is an emotional sponge and a dick is just exterior, right? So it's the same exterior that we use our mindset for falling in love with a woman through our eyes. And that's why women feel that they got to always be on point, which they do. Not because, we want this. No, it's just because that's how we perceive women. We don't perceive you through the love of our ears. We perceive you through physical. You understand? Like, a nigga can't think straight if he see a good-looking woman, you understand? And y'all don't see good-looking men the way we see good-looking women because there's more good-looking women than there is men. So it just keeps going back and forth. A lot of times as men, we want other men to be aware of this mindset, but we don't get along. You understand? Like when we were going to these foreign countries, we were still going to resorts. We were still going to sitting down with travel agents and picking out properties to go, and outside of the property we'll probably do this. But then when we shifted this, we started going and getting private hotels because we couldn't bring certain girls into the thing, especially into the resorts. This shifted within the last 10 years drastically. But there's also another shift because as much as that shifted against the elite brothers no longer the elite brothers no longer do the shit that they do because the goofball is out there. And he doesn't want to be associated with him, like I told you. So, like I said, I wish we could have this unity, but we really can't have it because it's two different mindsets. And when you have two different mindsets, somebody's going to fuck something up. Like, I just got hit with a load of truth in the last, let's just say, the last couple months. And I started looking at it like something was wrong. And I'm like, no, like, how did I talk about this mindset and I forgot to mention it? Like, the truth will protect you from deception. So that means you got to basically accept everything for what it is versus looking deeper. You understand? Like, what what they say, if a person shows you who they are, believe them. It's the same thing. So in a nutshell, I just want people to understand that, the way how we moving now, women love love and men love love too. But a man has to get past the physical. And a woman may not care for the physical. She, he probably did a Ronald Isley on her so powerful, she actually had no choice to fall in love because her heart was just yearning for it. So that's why women are more controlled. You don't see women riding the street at night trying to look for dick because she got an itch, unless she's a nymphomaniac. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but a nymphomaniac has nothing to do with a man. So when a man says he's a nympho, there's no such thing. A woman is a nymphomaniac. Look up the meaning. So that's called an odd condition. For a man, that's just a regular day. So again, two different mindsets, two different entities, two different sexes. That plays a significant role. And now, how can we accept this? To accept it means to accept it, but if you don't accept it and you just disagree and disagree and disagree, then you're not accepting the anatomy of a man and a woman. This is what it is. And women don't even realize this in some cases because they may think, well, we could play the game like the men. Steve Harvey told us to, and it's like, no, but he lied to you. You can't do that. It's biologically impossible for you to think like a man. Just acknowledge how. Just acknowledge. Don't forget your analysis. Just acknowledge that this is the truth. This is what it is, and move on. Don't question the truth. Don't debate the truth. Don't try to fight the truth. Just accept it. If a woman says, "Well, not all men," she disagrees, and she may think, or this, that, and the third, and this man is doing this and this. Like, it 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 does matter. Like, when you look at your husband or your boyfriend or the potential or the Amazon guy or whoever, UPS guy, whoever, just remember that the power is in your physical, because he's visual first. You're not physical. Your physical is not physical first. Believe it or not, yours run a little deep. You understand? Because through your ears is internal, and through his face it's external. He goes by what he sees. You go by what you feel first. You understand? You can see a dude that's not the best looking. Y'all niggas start talking, and you be like, oh shit, like, this is an awesome conversation. And you can engage with this person on levels of, wow, he's smart. We're not debating, we're not arguing, and he's funny with a crazy, incredible personality. I love it. And you could actually fall in love with a nigga that you physically never would have thought you would have gave a chance to. When a man can't do that, if you see a man with an unattractive woman, you best to believe what probably happened is you may look at her as a hot mess, but he sees a fucking gorgeous motherfucker. What he sees is what you don't see. Because believe me when I tell you, I'm not saying it's through his ears, it's not working either, but it works through the physical first. It has to go through that. So you may even catch her at a point where she fell off. Maybe she looked like shit, but it's too late now because now the mind is in. You understand? So it basically goes in the same direction, but one thing goes through a first trimester when yours goes through another, and that's just what it is. We both, as men and women, have to be aware of this, because a lot of times we see family members or friends or whatever, and you like them like, yo, what the fuck happened? She got with this fucking bum, and he completely destroyed her life. It's because he was telling her shit. I remember there was a woman that I'm gonna give you a brief description on this. I'm not gonna get too deep, but let's just say this. Let me just say what happened. Basically, in a nutshell, she was dating this married man for years. Years, true story. She was with him for so long. Shout out to Samantha X. Good night, darling. She met this guy, knew him for years, has a history with him, been fucking him behind the wife's back, all the above. Long story short, she tells me the nigga moves in, the nigga's leaving his wife. Now listen, she came to me and said, oh, I gotta tell you, you know what I mean? He told his wife he don't want to be with her no more. He wants to be with her, and he doesn't love her anymore, and all this and that, and it was rough, but they don't have any kids. Anyway, at the bottom line is she was listening to a whole bunch of fucking lies. She's listening to a whole bunch of lies, and she's confirming it by telling me. I'm looking her in her face. This is what I'm trying. She's telling me the lies. So as I'm listening to her, hearing a man tell her all this, I'm like, yo, his nigga's game is crazy. She's actually falling for all this shit. And now she's gonna see. Now he's gonna be her responsibility, and it's gonna be a motherfucker. Because God forbid he cheats on her, she's gonna be devastated. Because remember, she's not visual, she's internal. So she's gonna take all that she received from that man, and God forbid he reneges on anything, it's gonna destroy her. 5 months later, the nigga leaves her. Literally, top of the eighth, fucking leaves her. Bye. And she doesn't know I know this, but I know it because I'm a man, and I know that nigga, and I know his type, I know him. So once again, we put ourselves in these positions and put things on a pedestal, and shit just works against us because a woman just doesn't understand how vulnerable her ears are for love. So now he's gone. She's back to the drawing board, and now she's set back even 10 steps behind now because this nigga devastated her. It's so bad she's lying on saying that she's still with him. Now, if you know you're a woman, and you know you're a man, and you know that you're a sucker for a pretty woman or a thick woman, whatever you into, or you as a woman, you just know as a woman, generally speaking, regardless of how much you may like a good looking nigga, it's really about them ears. You got to be careful and protect that. Because that's actually more dangerous than a man. Because a man, yeah, he could get caught up in a situation. He could even be with a transsexual if he going through his eyes, right? And he get fucked over and find out it was a man. But a woman, she doesn't really know. Because once that shit starts going through her mind, and then through them ears, because remember, it goes through the ears, goes to the motherfucking damn brain, and then goes to that damn throat and that heart, and she got it. And this is why people get in a jam, because they don't take heed that what's vulnerable in their bodies and their mind. See, that's why I tell you, your mind is a terrible thing to waste. You could lose a limb and still survive, but you lose your mind, that's it, you brain dead. So you have to be more conscious to that as a woman, that as much as you may not realize, because you want to think like a man, like, yo, fuck that, I'll fuck a nigga and just leave him. Yeah. Just remember, you're more vulnerable on a mindset compared to an elite male than anything. Not the goofy nigga, because he's all fucked up. He's a mental disaster. He incriminates himself because all he know how to do is keep a good job. You understand? So, on a bright note, you could just use him, and he doesn't mind being used, and you could tell him all the shit he want to hear, and he's gonna fall in love deeper because he already fell in love through his eyes. So you know what I mean. So back to looking at the thumbnail and seeing Ronald Isley and his wife, which his wife got to be in her 40s. She's fine as a motherfucker. Trust me when I tell you, it ain't nothing. The money ain't nothing to him. This nigga been making music for 50, 60 years. That ain't the issue. The thing is, she has to also realize too that she's in love with this old geezer. So God forbid if this motherfucker fuck her over, he could devastate her. Versus if he was just using her for the money, she could always get another nigga with money. You understand what I'm saying? Don't panic. Said 99% of I can 99% I can tell a transsexual by the voice. I don't know how men don't hear the LOL. Men hear it. They hear that shit. They act like, man, let me tell you something about these niggas. When a nigga act like he don't know, the same way how you know, he knows. Because it's a transsexual. Every motherfucking, listen, every man and woman knows a transsexual. You can feel it. It's just the energy. But the nigga's gonna act like he's so visual he don't even notice it. But he does know. You know what I'm saying? Like, never believe a nigga that act like that. I didn't even see. He knows. Cause we think the same way you do. You may pick up a voice, we may pick up some little. I know a woman that got manly voice. I went to a school with a girl that had so much of male attributes. I didn't realize she was a woman until she had kids much, much later after high school. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I remember that. I remember her name was Angela. She used to have hairy legs, like hair on her legs. She had no hips. She had an athletic body and a big head. And I'm like, we knew she was a girl, but it was just like, we didn't know she was a girl. We don't know she was a hermaphrodite. But she did have kids later. Some people just have certain things that they get through their DNA that just don't complement them. Once again, a man is visual. So sometimes he may see certain things and act like he don't see it, or he may just be so visual that he didn't even fucking pay it attention. Either way, he can still be deceived because he hasn't respected the fact that his downfall is his eyes. You understand? So you as a woman, you have to learn how to receive the fact that your downfall is your ears. What you hear can fucking put you over and put you on to the lowest nigga and fuck your whole life up. No matter how strong you may think you be, you have to respect that. Because once you respect that, then you'll never be deceived because you accepted the truth. If a man doesn't realize, yo, I'm a sucker for a pretty bitch, like fat ass, like I'm a sucker for that, and he's aware of it, he won't be deceived. It happened to me today. I was in the car in my truck, and I seen this girl and her husband going in the store with their kid in a shopping cart, and his wife was like, whoa, big old. She had like, these stretched leather pants. I don't know if they're really leather, but they shiny, and she had a nice little fucking fat ass. And she was really nice, and all I kept saying was, damn. And then I said, oh shit, like this is just the look. That's how we are. But again, I'm a sucker for that. You see what I'm saying? So knowing that I'm a sucker for that, I know at the end of the day, it ain't gonna go no further than this. You know what I'm saying? Number one, I ain't trying to fuck with it. And number two, I know at the end of the day, it's a married woman. So if I was on some real bullshit, all these things would work against me even going any further at this time in my life if my circumstances is different. Because I'm aware that I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for what I see through because I'm a man. You know. So you gotta respect the jokes, like respect the game. To respect something is to know it. Like the truth will protect you from deception. So as long as you know the truth about yourself, you know the truth. You don't need to know the truth about others. All you just have to accept is what you're presented with is the truth. So you can't be deceived because they're presenting you with that. And if you can't see it, and you accept that that's the truth, then you still can't be deceived because you're like, well, nigga, I don't know. I don't know what this nigga do when he home. You know what I'm saying? Or what she do, whatever the topic is. You know, so it's important to know and accept, because to accept it is to understand it. We don't mean like, well, I just accept it because I just had no choice. No, you have to understand it. That's important. Don't just say it. You have to understand it because, and if you have a hard time understanding the opposite sex, understand yourself. Know what you're a sucker for real. Like, know that every situation in your past has been through a nigga telling you a whole bunch of fucking lies and you kept falling for it. And it talked the panties off. You got to look at the history. How did you get in bed with these niggas? Because you wanted dick? Like, you know, that's not true. Unless you're a nympho. And you can't have that mindset that you got garbage pussy. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker that's a nymphomaniac got some serious fucking sex. You understand? So it's important to just know your weakness, whether you're a man or a woman. Understand that this is what is up against you. And to overcome it is not to overcome it, but to accept it is to understand that it's the truth. And then it protects you. It's like a package deal. Like, you know, you buy a protection plan from a store for an appliance, right? Like, they're telling you, listen, you can do anything you want with this motherfucker. You're covered for 5 years, but just understand, like, you know, take heed that you know you're covered, but you ain't just gonna get a free motherfucking stove just because. I'm just letting you know if shit gets damaged, you know what you're working with. So it's the same as if you a man and you know, at the end of the day you have a wife and you know that you're a sucker for a woman that's attractive. Don't mean you're not attracted to your wife, but it's a risk. And now there's a risk factor of, okay, what if this shit actually happens? What's gonna protect that where it doesn't happen? And that protection could be the mindset of like, I'm just a sucker for a fat ass. I ain't fucking with that bitch. I ain't gonna step out on my wife. You understand? You gotta watch that. You have to watch that. These things that I'm looking at, I know I attracted. So that's another struggle. The goofball he can't even understand it, but he can't comprehend it. But me, I'm like, all right. You know, I know if I had caught this motherfucker one-on-one, we and I would have been talking, kicking it, talking that shit. And all I got to do is just, you know, on some single shit, take that motherfucker out to one of my spots and it's over. I know that. You know what I mean? Because now I know she may be with this nigga and she may be bored or she may be complacent. And I'm like, nah, she going to have the time of her life. And that's just the thing. You know, you got to know your hook. You have to know your hook and you got to know your sucker for. You got to know what you're weak for. Because what you're usually weak for is your downfall. You know, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm a visual nigga, so I'm visual in a wide, broad space. Like, I like everything. You know what I mean? I see a motherfucker that got pretty ankles and she wears her shoes like her feet don't smell. That should have turned me on. So all that detail on top of physical is just too much for me. So, you know, I got to be careful with that because I have wasted a lot of time and made a lot of bad decisions in my past because of this sickness. Because of, and I call it a sickness on some individual shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting, you know what I'm saying? Don't panic. And somebody put a baby in her and there's someone for everyone. Yeah, well, that's the thing, because there is someone for everyone, but again, since social media been out, nobody believes that anymore. Because everybody feels that they're entitled to get what they want to get. You know, now a man, like I told you, he has to basically be embraced. He has to embrace what he attracts. A woman, on the other hand, she doesn't have to really do that. She doesn't have to embrace what she has because she actually has a little more options than us. She can have a big old butt and attract a whole bunch of players, but if she's aware that that's the downfall, is that big old fucking trunk and that big old ass she got, she can get a nigga that is not in the ass. And to the point where he's not even asked, to the point he's not obsessed with a shit like that, and she probably end up with him. You know, but she has to accept the truth. She has to understand that that butt that she got is not a privilege. It's not a privilege to fall in love through your ears. It's not a privilege that you fall in love with a woman through your eyes. Let's get that straight. It is not a privilege. That is not a privilege. That is a downfall. And that is the hard truth. So accept it, because if you don't accept it, you're going to be deceived. But if you accept it, it will protect you from deception. It will. You know, the truth, that's why they told you the truth will always set you free. Because when the truth sets you free, it's protecting you from deception. That's exactly what it means. You know what I mean? I know some people may have thought it was a jail situation, or like you get in trouble and your mother say, you tell the truth and I'll let you go. No, it sets you free in the zone of that. This is all psychological things, you know what I'm saying? You have to understand that to protect your feelings, you have to be honest with yourself. For people to take you serious, you gotta be you gotta ask questions. You know what I'm saying? You can't just assume things. Everything has something that's gonna protect you when you embrace the truth of it. And as a woman and man, you have to change your mindset. You can't think that you're gonna get what you want from a man and your ears got you fucked up. Like your ears have put you in the bedroom with motherfuckers. What you've been told through a man has allowed you to make horrible decisions because you listen to him. Gotta watch that. You know, all these guys you see going to these foreign countries, they out there on a visual, because what they visualize here, they can't even get. So that's another true reality. They don't tell. I wish a man could say that. I do, because I would respect a passport bro to say, without complaining, bro, I couldn't get this shit here. Don't tell me they ain't doing what they doing here, or these women play games. No, just say to yourself, I could never get these slew of women here. I have to go to these other countries because these women don't fuck with me out here like that. And that true reality will protect you from deception. It will, because you're real with yourself. You've accepted the truth of who you are. You accepted the truth of what works against you. You accepted your weaknesses. You accepted your downfall. So the reward of that is you will be protected by deception. But you have to be honest, not to you, to yourself. Not to you. You got to be honest to yourself. I can't stress that any harder. And that's why social media promotes to be fake. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing girls twerking and shaking their asses, and a nigga that is a sucker for a good looking girl, and a woman may think that that's what she has to do now to get a nigga to fall in love with her, but it's going to backfire, because at the end of the day, he fell in love with her ass, but now he kicking all that shit in her ear. And that's what she's a sucker at. And she didn't protect that. But if she accepted the fact that that's how she is, that she would have sent her back to drink. You know what I mean? Like that. What I mean by that, meaning like it's just a nice way of saying, I'm cool, I decline. Like, yeah, he's a good looking dude, but now he try to get in her ear. She like, You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. My ears, I'm too sensitive over here. You got to go that way. And you know what I'm saying? They could actually laugh about that. And it's just amazing how it all works. And that's why it's important to use my previous podcast. And you should listen to, it's only 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Listen to what I spoke about, how the truth will protect you from deception. I don't tell you this often, use this across the board in your life. You will see things differently, because now you're going to be like, oh, you ain't going to even take half of the shit personal now, because everything is just being presented to you as the truth. If you got 5 family members you don't fuck with because they got on some bullshit, why are you mad for? Did you accept them? Hell no. Well, you're going to keep getting deceived now. Now you're probably going to cut them off. You're going to take everything personal. You never take things personal when the truth is put out. Just embrace the truth. Even if the truth was a lie, you got to embrace it. You don't embrace the truth, you're going to be deceived. And deceived is a very, very terrible, very lonely, vulnerable space because you're going to constantly be fucking getting jammed up. You know, you're going to be like a passport bro in Colombia. These niggas really believe in their minds that these are girls that's just wanting to find love. They probably are trying to find love, but they're prostitutes. So when you're a prostitute, it's all about the business. Now, I know men can never fathom that because we don't have nobody paying us for sex, but she fucked too many niggas where a nigga could get in her head because the guy that's going to get in her mind is not going to be a fucking damn John. He's going to be a man that, you know what I mean? He's going to be able to get in her mind in ways that the damn John could never get in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure a lot of prostitutes are underage. They're underage. They're disease carriers. They're all fucked up, but he doesn't realize that his eyes is his problem. That's why he's out there. You know, so understand these simple things. Don't get too caught up in all the shit that you hear and this one's making up this and that because they're deceiving you. You understand? Even if they're lying, they're deceiving you. But you got to know when they're lying. You know, you got to know when a motherfucker, this nigga's full of shit. And you've accepted, like, all right, he good people. It's like Dr. Umar's a bullshitter. He has some talking points, but I know for the most part he's a bullshitting ass Negro. And I fuck with the nigga because I've accepted the fact that this nigga's a bullshitter. It is what it is. And, you know, he can't deceive me because I already know he's a bullshitter. I'm not going to take none of his talking points at all because it's like, that's Dr. Umar. You win some, you lose some, Dr. Umar. You know, again, he's a brilliant man, but he's a bullshitter. He don't believe most of the stuff he talks about. He don't live that life. So think really wisely on why you make bad decisions. Even if it's outside of relationship, just relations, just with people. You may think, I'm done, I'm cutting this one out of my life. How the fuck you cutting everybody out your life and you don't want to keep getting fucked over? You got to think about that. Why you keep getting fucked over? You know, I had a cousin say to me yesterday, you know, he don't want nobody hurting him anymore. And I'm like, well, what are you doing to keep getting hurt? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing to keep getting hurt? You have to let's get to that part. So if you constantly getting played, you can handle this shit in two different ways. You either gonna say, God damn it, niggas is no fucking good. I'm tired of niggas. I'm shutting down, cutting everybody off, cutting everybody from school, my mama, papa. Right. That's typical. Or you gonna be like, I'm one dumb bitch. I make some horrible fucking decisions. I am a sucker for a nigga's fucking game box. A nigga's mouthpiece to get me. Good night, darling. Shout out to Chiron. Oh shit, what up, Chiron? Excuse me. So it's important to know that if you have a weakness and you know it, that's the truth. Your truth may be the strength in it. It don't matter you're weak for this. So you have to accept that. You know what I mean? I know I'm clumsy. I know I'm a clumsy nigga. So I can't be, black ice is not my friend. If I have to accept that. So when I fall, first I'm usually not blaming the motherfucker that didn't put salt on the sidewalk. I'm blaming me because I'm a clumsy motherfucker. You understand? It keeps going deeper and deeper, but keep these things simple. A man falls in love through his eyes because he's visual. A woman falls in love through her ears because she's internal. Never forget that. You don't understand that? Now you may be deceived now by a man that not only talking that shit, but now he's a good looking man. Because you haven't accepted your weakness. You haven't accepted your mindset. You haven't accepted the anatomy of a female. Females are nurturers because they want to be nurtured. Men have to be able to be stimulated through how good you look. Ain't that some shit? Like, it got nothing to do with him. He has to be stimulated that he got a bad bitch and I can't believe I'm with. You understand? So if once he says to himself and say, wow, I'm such a sucker for a light skinned Latin woman, then he's gonna be able to say, you know what? He can't be deceived now because he's like, I'm a sucker for all these motherfuckers. So at the end of the day, I can't lie to myself. He has to be real with self. Same way how you have to be real with yourself. It's important. You know what I'm saying? Chiron says, Nate, I'm just joining. Do you disagree with the saying the way a man's heart is through his stomach? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. That does hold some weight, but remember, you have to get past the physical. If a man has a woman that's not attractive and he's not attracted to her, okay, let's just say he's not attracted to her, and she's trying to cook for this nigga to get this nigga to fall in love, it won't work. It won't. Because he's not into you physically. I don't give a fuck if you could be an attractive woman, he probably just not attracted to you. But if he's a man that is attracted to you and you trying to seal the deal by really getting this nigga fucking open, yes, the weight of his heart is through his stomach. But you also could ruin him through his stomach too. Because the way through his heart is through his stomach, especially a black man, so he's going to be vulnerable to what you do to food. So on the flip side, he has to watch that because you trying to hook him and we don't know how much of the level is. That's a deeper little side of it. We'll get into that another day. But for the most part, you can lock a man in with that through his heart, through the fact that he's into you physically. Absolutely. But again, if he's not into you, then you're just going to be doing all this shit that people told you it's not going to work. So they didn't tell you that part. To seal the deal with a man to get him on an internal level is through his stomach. No question about it. No doubt about it. You know how to cook for him. You know how you like his steaks. You know how you like his food. You like the way his rice, his jasmine rice. Whatever it is, you know it. And now he's just like, I'm not going any fucking where. I'm in the hood. The motherfucker know how to cook for me. Period. So he's in. Once again, though, your mindset may be maybe you're vulnerable for what a motherfucker says. And next thing you know, let's say you are a lousy cook and he tells you you're a great cook. Anything like that. The point of the matter is you have to question anything when you know who you are. And when you know who you are is to live in your truth. That's why I tell people when you live in your truth, there's a reward that protects you from a lot of nonsense. It does. Because to live in the truth will protect you. Gotcha. He has to be attracted to you first and the food solidifies it. Yeah, that shit will lock it down. It locked me down. It did it. I'm telling you from experience. Let me tell you something. Every relationship I had in my life that was of substance was through that same process. As I'm talking to you, I'm thinking like, yep, first love. Yep. Every relationship I had of substance, meaning like it was because physically, you know what I mean? In addition to the motherfuckers had the damn goods. Cause I was with a woman one time in my life that I wasn't physically attracted to. And she tried to do that. And it backfired. It backfired so much she started getting me fat. Because she had money. So if she couldn't cook something, she would take me out. Fuck ordering food. Take me out. You know what I'm saying? And we had a relationship that we was trying to do like it just makes sense relationship. So it wasn't about my physical. It wasn't about what she heard through the years because she was a businesswoman. And I can't say how she felt about me physically, whatever, but I can say physically I wasn't into her physically. But on a business level with us, what if we had a kid or we did business together? Like our mindsets would have got us far, but there would have been no love there because I wouldn't have fell in love through the eyes, and I didn't tell her enough things through her ears for her to fall in love with me. So it would have just been all financial, you know what I'm saying? So I did that, and that was the most, oh my God, what a horrible. You know, there's nothing worse than feeling that way. That was a very, very lonely place. That, let's just say that was probably one of the worst relationships I've ever had in my life, because I was I was dealing with her for the logic of she got money, we could make power moves, I got the credit, you know what I mean? There was a lot of shit at the time when we was dealing with each other, but damn, look at that, look how long ago that was, 2002. Look how time flies. Oh my God. She caught me out of a vulnerable state because I got out of a relationship previously because of my downfall of my, this is the downfall of a man now. I fell in love through my eyes, and I was blinded because I never understood that that was my downfall. And I got deceived. So I got caught real bad. So when me and her broke up, I went to the one that was the logic sense, and it just wasn't logic. It wasn't. I was miserable. She gave me everything that I could possibly have. I had like this collector's car. She didn't want me to drive it, keep it in the driveway. She had a brand new Mercedes, so you drive the Mercedes and keep the shit here. And I would take the car and pick up other girls because I didn't respect her because I wasn't into her. You understand? And then she started feeding me and making sure I was good. And we stayed in restaurants, and she spoiled me, and it just wasn't good for her. For both of us, you know what I'm saying? Because as a result of not being good for me, then I deceived her and I wasted her time. And Sharon says, but how would you explain the guys who's down for their woman but she can't cook? What would you say about that particular woman is doing differently and to solidify things? That's a really good one. Okay, so if a man is with a woman that he's down for, she can't cook, I mean, once again, it has to be something that he's into her for, because if he's down for her to the point where that's his number one, then that would be self-explanatory, because he could still, if he's into her among other things and she can't cook, oh well, it's just more the motive. The only downfall of that is if that's his key to his heart, she already got the key physically, right? Let's just say that he fell in he fell in love with her through her eyes. So that to lock the deal any deeper would be better if she could cook, because she could always learn how to cook. She could still do it. But if she can't cook, the only problem is he's a sucker for a woman physically, and now he can beat another woman physically, and then she can cook, and then she's fucked. That's a problem. Because if the other one, he got the second piece, and I've been in that position too. I'm not going to say the one didn't cook, but the second one that I was dealing with, she cooked so well, but she didn't have good sex. You see what I'm saying? I was into her physically. She cooked her ass off because she was very, very traditional. And then her pussy was trash. So the main one's pussy was better, and she had my heart. So she was a number two. See, when we do 1, 2, 3, and 4s, I'm going to get into that conversation another day. I'll tell you what that's about. So yes, to answer your question, what would you say about a particular woman doing things differently to solidify things? So once again, if he's into her from his eyes, all she got to do is just stay on point, right? So if she wants to lock the deal down, she can do that shit in other ways. Like, depending who the person is, but if she really wants to lock the shit clear down, she's gotta fucking learn how to burn, because then he won't be as vulnerable to another chick. You gotta remember, there's only one good cook. You can't have 5 women and you don't know who cooks the best. There's always gonna be number one. So, you know what I'm saying? Marcel says, Nate, do you think it's dangerous for a man to fall in love through his eyes? No. I think it's dangerous for a man to fall in love through his eyes to a prostitute. I think it's dangerous for a man to fall in love through his eyes with a hoe. But if he falls in love through his eyes with a lady, then that's fantastic. He'll be fine, you understand? Because she's a lady. But if he falls in love through his eyes, generally with the wrong type of woman, you know what I'm saying? That'll fuck him up. Shout out to Red Lipstick. What up, baby? Shout out to Red Lipstick. So there's a lot of different ways of looking at that, and that's why it's important to know. You gotta know your. Don't go on your strength. Fuck your strength. Your strength. Nobody cares about your strength. Because a man, when we hear a woman's strength, we try to look for her weakness anyway, because we trying to break you down. The goal is with us is to break it down. Just generally dating, right? So you tell me all these strengths, we're like, yeah. I wanna hear your weakness. And you don't want to tell your man your weakness. You don't want to tell him I'm a sucker for a man that, tells me sweet things. You be like, okay, you made it easier. You have to actually give them the perception of you're not a sucker for that. But to yourself, you have to know I'm a sucker for that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to God of Scientists. What up, player? Cartonia says, Brother Nate, I went to your Instagram, kept those men of demonic behaviors. They should be jailed. Let me tell you something real quick, Cartiona. That shit happens out there. That's when I tell you they fucked the game up, it's because that's all that's happening out there. You just happen to see that one video. Them niggas are getting robbed. They trying to get out on the girls. They be fighting the girls. This is why I tell y'all with these Latin women, they don't fuck with us. When they be coming from these damn countries and they be coming in as migrants, they know who we are. So it's going to take them some time to be in America to know the difference. You understand? Because think about it. It was out there. All them niggas you see tackling that girl, them niggas wasn't no bum niggas. Trust me when I tell you, they corny. You can see the shit they wearing on their feet. All of them are fucking corny, but them ain't no damn broke ass niggas with $2 in their pocket. They just niggas. Like, these motherfuckers probably got professional jobs, probably was a cop and a fireman, but black men have a tendency when they do these things because they living through their eyes, they go to these different countries and they forget that there's certain rules and regulations and they just fuck up. You know what I mean? But, yeah, they're going to get it because that video went viral. It's going to go viral. Another question, do you believe, you can shoot all the questions. I'm still here. I'll be here for a few more minutes. Another question, do you believe an 80-20 rule in a relationship? You only get 80% of what you need? Don't believe that. That 80-20 shit came from apartment buildings. Don't believe that. I don't even know how they use that. Let me tell you what the 80-20 rule is. The government, when the government makes these affordable housings and these high-rise buildings, these expensive buildings, they got to give 20% to lower income. It is the federal law. That's it. That 80-20 bullshit, somebody just grabbed that shit from the concept of the fucking federal government of the United States. That is what they do. So when you build a building, simple logic, you build a damn building, you want $15,000 a month for your apartments, $10,000 a month. 20% of that has to go to lower income. That's all that came from. So in regards to love, that what you only get 80% of what you need, no. That is definitely not true. The rule of the matter is complete. To be with the man that you're supposed to be with the man that you need to be with, that's total complete. So you're going to get 100%. It may not be perfect, but it's going to be perfect for you. You understand? So I don't know. I heard that for years. And I'm like, nah, that's just not true. It's not. Because for an individual, you have to understand that it's not what you want, it's what you need. So if you keep looking in this world of what you like, what you want, you're going to keep getting disappointed because in most cases, especially if you're a man, you're not even attracting what you motherfucking like. So, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be blinded by what you love to look at. Your eyes, you know what I'm saying? Because you fall in love through that way for a man. Cartoon, I never knew this was happening. All 4 men attacking this woman, a lady with someone, mom and daughter, auntie. It's just, yes. But this is even deeper because they don't tell you the woman be drugging these niggas and they're killing them. Like there's a drug out there called I forgot the name of the drug, but basically it could knock you out. You could rob. You could he's bound to go down. You could rob the fuck out of him and drug his drink. That's a big thing out there. They look at these guys as licks. Again, they're out there with the mindset because they fall in love through their eyes. They're visual, so they're still taking risks. They're so obsessed with these light-skinned Latin women, even though they know they're doing this out there, they still fuck with them. But this is what's gonna happen. Don't get it fucked up now. There's a few niggas out there getting murdered. They killing niggas out there. This is Colombia. It's just that the men believe they're from America and they're in this poor country and they're kings and everybody's gonna love them. So you know what I'm saying? It's all bullshit. So is it possible to completely fulfill in a relationship? Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you gotta think about it. If you have that mindset and you've been in a relationship for 2 years, you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see that until you've been with somebody for 40, 50 years. You can't see that in that's too early. 2 years is nothing. You got to be with a person for a lifetime. You know what a lifetime is? That means you've been with them for enough time where it was considered a life. You know what I mean? If somebody passes away, they've been on earth for 2 years, that's not too much of a lifetime, but 25, 56, that's a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? That's more than what people, how old they are, right? So once you listen to these people, their testimonies, they will tell you that. Because at that point, there's nobody in the world that could do what this person did. Some people have been with people for a long time and they're like, well, they just wasn't that. But you're not going to know that until you've been together that long. You understand? You can't get a testimony from any individual for the been in a relationship for 2, 3, 4 hours. 4 hours, 4 years. That ain't shit. Like, you won't be completely fulfilled in a relationship until you start going through the ups and downs of situations. Prime example, you may be in a position with somebody that you with, and you don't know until one of y'all gotta wipe each other's ass. You get jammed up and you fall or you break your fucking hip and legs or anything. You're not going to know a fulfilled relationship until shit hit the fan. You with this person, you lost a parent, you lost somebody, you lost a kid. You're not going to know until unfortunately, that's the sad truth. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Q. What up, big bro? Salute. It's my man. I think it's Socapine. I think it's Scope. Yeah, it works quick too. I mean, you could kill a nigga. You're supposed to give it to him like every 3 hours, but if you give it too close, you could kill the dude because the dude got killed over there. But remember, these are Colombian niggas. These niggas torture. See, Colombians, when they rob you, they torture you. That's the only thing. They don't just put a gun and rob you. These niggas like beating you up, cutting you up, feed you to the pigs, and then fucking take your jewelry. Cartoonist says, I pray God open the door for every sister to find a man that God has for her. Yeah, but sisters got to be willing to understand that they wear their hearts deep. So this thing, a woman falls in love through her years. This is one thing that hits a black woman more than anybody. Because a black woman is more subjected to that shit than anybody. She's vulnerable to that. Even though black women have choices, even though women have choices, more options than men, they still have to take heed to you. Have to be with who's supposed to be for you. Because every time you fuck with somebody that's not for you, I'm telling you, it's going to set you back. It's going to keep setting you back. And you're going to blame them. And you should never blame them. You should look at them as a God, because if it rejected you, then it's the sad truth. You're not supposed to be with them. You dig what I'm saying? Men are getting drugged out there every day, literally, and bodies are dropping weekly, and those ones are not getting reported. Well, this is what happened. See, the person that did this video, I don't know what was on this nigga's mind. I'll tell you what happened. He posted it in a group and somebody grabbed the video. That's where he fucked up. That's what happened. It was a travel group. Cause I ain't gonna say who, but you know what I mean? Let's just say I got the exclusive and I caught it from the same place the other dude that put up there caught it. He caught it from a travel group. And and it was so graphic I couldn't post it. I could only use the audio. Yeah, everybody don't wake up. There's a fact. Chiron said, yes, true. Hard times when you see a true character. Yeah, you can't just be with a woman through good times. You don't know you. Let me tell you something. Until you walk through the shoes with a person, you could have been with several people in your life and you ain't never go through the hard times. So you ain't really see the real true completion. You know, you don't know who a woman is until you don't know who your mate is that could fulfill you until you go through a situation that's gonna make you say, fuck that. Like you could have friends that may not be the greatest friends now, but they've been through hard times, and you're like, nigga went crazy, but that's still my man because I never forget he was around there for this, that, and the third. Or you had more good than bad. You probably got 40 years of being friends with the nigga been losing his mind the last 5. That's okay. Nate, Samantha said, Nate, do you believe a woman cannot level a man and that he can only bring her to his level, whether that's up or down? No, you cannot. No. You know what? I'm only saying you cannot because to give you that expectation, again, you're going to be dealing with, you're probably with a man you're not even supposed to be with. Now, if you're with the one you're made to be with, yes, you could level them up. But you don't want to give this expectation of, yeah, a woman could level up a man. Nah, not every man because he could be using you. Remember, we're visual. You know what I mean? If a man is visual and you sitting there trying, look at my friend. She did it with the married nigga. Like, she tried to do everything she could with him, and look what happened. This nigga had a fucking stroke and was literally using. She was by his side, but at the end of the day, he was using her. She was going by what he was telling her. She became a victim. So she made a bad move. So she thought she was going to level him up after she took him from another woman's wife. But what she forgot was, at the end of the day, he's married. You can't level up a married nigga. It's just no matter what you do, that's like making a hoe into a housewife. It just it just will never work. Even if you think it works, it won't work. Because that's just off limits. It's just, you gonna fuck with the married nigga, fuck with a married nigga to pay your bills. Don't fuck with him for dick. You can't because you fall in love through your ears. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, niggas will use a girl all day to get a level up. Shit, are you kidding me? Especially if she willing to do it. We'll use the fuck out of her. How you think niggas use girls to come home from jail? Yeah, we use the fuck out of them. Garden scientists said, please forget how vicious Colombia was back in the 80s and 90s. You have to realize these young men and women in Colombia are now in the same DNA. It's not sweet. The only reason why these niggas in Colombia don't want to fuck around because they trying not. These niggas are trying to get out of the country. But what's happening right now, black niggas is out there invading this shit. Now they forced to get on their gangster shit. Like, you can't fuck with them niggas. Listen, I don't care if it's Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador. All of them fucking countries are dangerous. See, it's not that I know the country. I know everybody that lives out there. Because all I'm around is these motherfuckers. They all in my neighborhood. So I already know the deal. Like, these niggas, the only time they respect not blowing a nigga's head off out here is in America. Over there, come on. Again, they just want to get to America. Blowing your head off is easy out there, but they ain't trying to just be killing. But now they about to do open season on niggas now because the girls are setting niggas up and niggas are still going out there. Like, if they setting you up, stop going. I wouldn't fuck with Colombia at all. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't fuck with it. You see me in Colombia, you best assume that I got a movie deal to do out there and a damn fucking documentary. I don't want to have nothing to do with that country because the black man that he ruined it. I don't want him. I don't want them thinking it's me. Every woman gonna look at me as a fucking. I walk out there. Oh, we're gonna use his ass. Drug his drink. You gotta watch me in the restaurant. It's just they. It's too much. In addition to, I gotta see that shithole out there. I don't want to see none of them niggas. I don't want to be anywhere where they're at. Fuck that. I'd rather be in a damn little lounge spot with 2-9 whoever motherfuckers in New York City. I get in my car, I'm home in 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like I'm funny with shit. I don't want to be getting out the damn restaurant. I'm like, oh shit, nigga. I'm like 4 or 5 hours away on a plane. That's just, I can't deal with that reality. It's just, that shit'll freak me out. It'll freak me out. Any more questions? So yeah, this is, you just got to understand. That's why I told you I ain't got to do too much. But a woman's a sucker for her heart, and a man's a sucker with his eyes. You know, we know married men differently. In regards to, what I mean, how a man thinks, and you look at a married man as the fucking valuable guy because of that's your heart. You know what I mean? Your heart is talking. Cartiona says, I don't understand why black men are going to patriotic communities and system countries. These countries are not playing with these black men. I know why they going there. I mean, I ain't gonna sit there and tell you I don't understand why they going there. You understand? Think about it like this. Let me put you in the mindset of them. All right. You're in America. You got this job. You got this career. You're doing well. Right. You have high expectations. Right. As a successful man, you have high expectations because you think because you're successful, you're going to have high expectations. But unfortunately, the more successful the man, the lower his standards. Now write that down because I'm going to do a video on this. The more successful the man, the lower his standards. Because see, he's not going to be successful and look for a woman that got equal. Because that would be, or he's not going to look for the woman for him. He doesn't have that mindset. His mindset is, now I can get what I want because I got the money. You see how he's thinking? It's different. So in his mind, he has high expectations but low standards. He flies low. Like, I'm this, I'm that. He believes a man that has high expectations on the top of the totem pole. There's no such thing with us. Like, we could look at the fucking rich nigga as a goofball. We could look at the fucking street nigga as a hero. So that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We see niggas that come home from jail, we respect them more than nigga that go to college. So I don't know where men got this mindset from. I think Kevin Samuels poisoned these niggas. A woman, on the other hand, you know what I mean? And even then, that's among women. It ain't among men. Men don't give a fuck. Among women, she may think, wow, she's this, she's that. Or if a woman's rich, most men that's rich will probably be intimidated to deal with her. Shit like that. But men become more delusional the more successful they get. Ask Jeffrey Epstein, all these motherfuckers, Weinstein, all these motherfuckers. This is why they become the P. Diddy, all of them. Russell Simmons, because they have high expectations and low standards. Like the shit that these niggas be doing, you're like, how are you raping girls and you're rich? You know what I'm saying? How the fuck do you even have a concept to rape anybody and you're a multi-fucking billionaire? So I say this to say, with men that's going out there, if a nigga want to freak off with nothing but having an array of bad Latin sluts, like, he can't do that here. There's no way in America he has that privilege. That's number one. Number two, Why would you be rich and want a slut for? Why would you want to freak off? Because he has high expectations. The more money he make, the more pussy he want. You ain't gonna get a whole bunch of pussy from ladies. You gotta be a slut. Every man loves a slut. I get it. I love a slut. We all love sluts. But he can't do that here. So he goes to Colombia and they're giving away the shit for free. It was cool when they were giving away for low prices and fucking prostitutes, and because remember, professionals do that. But now they made a community out of that shit. It became fucking viral, and then there's too many people out there, and the shit goes in that direction. So I'm not gonna act like I don't know why they're not out there. I'm a man, but I also know that there's a certain class of nigga that's out there. It's not a thug fucking it up. It's a nigga that probably making 500K a year. That's what they do. The more successful these niggas are, the more and more they set they stay where their standards low. They ain't out there trying to get an African princess. They want a Latin prostitute. So and they call her lady. You know what I'm saying? Sharon says all inclusive resorts aren't safe no more either. Employees will set you up even when you get them shits was never really safe in Latin countries and in Jamaica. You know, West Indian countries, but you know what I'm saying? It all depends on the property. It all depends on the property. If you look at 4 or 5 star, never go to listen. You gotta go by that star shit. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You look up the damn reviews and just read it. If everybody's talking about robbery, then you don't ever go there. You understand? But resorts are just played out now because some of the best properties are closing down because niggas they get Airbnbs and rent houses. Cartona says, when I travel to different countries, I'm responsible, respectful of people and their coaches. I'm searching for sexual activities as learning. You know what? This ain't the time to travel to no countries. Cruises are played out because COVID fucked that up. I don't care. They can make the biggest cruise ship they want to do. All that shit is salted now because there's an entity that fucked it up. So COVID was destroyed. COVID fucked up cruises. Niggas still getting sick on cruises. They've been getting sick on cruises, but everybody that gets on cruises gets diarrhea. Just remember that. They get fucking diarrhea or they get seasickness, right? You're gonna get one of the two, especially now. They're doing too much. The resorts have a bad stigma now because the setups, the fucking poisoning, and the carbon monoxide. Yeah, there's a lot of negative things to that too. So the best thing to do, you got to get on some Brady Bunch shit and go. You got to travel the United States. Let me tell you something. You want to enjoy a country? Do what people do when they come to America. That's all. They want to come here. They ain't trying to fucking go back to Paris. we only do that because we're foreign to that. But start getting into road trips and understanding and visit the fucking 50 states. You're better off. Whatever country you want to go to, you want to make sure you could drive there. Except Mexico. I wouldn't fuck with that. Traveling to different countries is not the wave anymore. It's just not. Because the migrants are making that unpopular. It's played out now. Like, if you haven't did that shit in the past up until 2020, it means nothing anymore. That shit is played the fuck out. And I don't mean that as a disrespect. I'm speaking in terms of, like, think about it. What could a person tell you that you haven't heard already? There's not a country a person could blow your mind with. And there's not a nigga could tell you they flew the moon. You're like, yeah, Elon Musk did that. You know what I mean? It's nothing now. Like, you want to do something exclusive, drive your car to fucking California, just to say you did it. That's pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to say the same thing, God, a scientist. Trust me. Believe me. The Chiron says, yeah, right now you should only travel in countries where you have family. Yes. You want to explore the United States. Yes. But family will set you up. Well, you don't even have to have family because, see, the thing is, the United States has too much to offer. Now, you want to be technical. traveling anywhere is not the smartest thing right now because we're still in the sticks. But if you're gonna do it in America. Like get into, start getting into these RVs and see how these RV parks. Like that's a big different world. That's exclusive. That's something different. Um, and don't worry about family. Family's family. The truth. You know how family is. So you know what I'm saying. Just accept it. To accept the truth, then you won't be deceived. They can't deceive you when you know they on some bullshit. Bro, Cartier said, "But I'm so ashamed of these brothers displaying this demonic, creepy crawler, predator behavior. I'm speechless." Listen, I was so speechless. Excuse me. I was so disappointed that I became like, why am I disappointed? Like, I know the truth. Again, the truth protects you from deception. It won't be me, not in this day in life, right? So I think I think figuring out and saying, well, if anything, I'm waiting for is, well, this shit's gonna close down soon. Countries don't like that. If you seen America and seeing niggas coming from England beating up girls and shit in hotels and all that, they wouldn't be fucking going for that. We're a different country, The United States of America ain't playing that shit. You see, one thing about the United States they love to do is deport niggas. They'll let you do the time here and send you right back to your fucking country. Beat it. They'll let you do it. That's what they're gonna do to that. What's that singer that beat up that shot Meg the Stallion? They're gonna let him do time. They're gonna deport him. He's never gonna be able to come back to America. But these men, listen, like I said, the women are overpowering. They're overpowering. Like you know how that is to live a dream world, and the women in America look better, but then they're not giving you the time of day. And then you go over there and you see these prostitutes that only like prostitutes. It's like, here to get you. My mom's been looking for RVs like 2 years now. She wants to do road trips every time, me and my sisters. I'm telling you, you this is the stuff you got to realize. You got to mix. You got to go retro. You can't go old school. You can't do what you tried to do 20 years ago. You got to do what was done 50 years ago in a different way. Like you're not in a station wagon. You get in a Suburban and drive with family and just take the whole family. Like these are the things now that you should explore. I'm not saying this works and you're gonna won't regret it, but try to explore what you could do in your country. Like you could still be in a foreign country and it be in a different state. But I mean, you don't always have to take the plane and go visit across the seas. You could be doing the same mindset in Pennsylvania. If you just get to know these states, you'll be surprised. Like, I'll give you an example, right? I love trains, as y'all know, right? So there are between Connecticut and Pennsylvania, there's so much a culture with trains and freight trains and shit. Like, who would ever think? And I can't even get next to none of this shit with where I live the same way I could get over there. So you got to find out what culture are you looking for and seek it because it's in America. Like, remember, the advantage in America is every race, creed, and nationality is in the United States of America. So you can't skip a beat here. Everything is here historically, current. It's here because everybody is a big melting pot. And there's some cases where it may be spread out. And in some cases it could be in one city. I can't get into New York City again because I live here. But you would enjoy New York City better than me because you may not. So in order for me to enjoy the state, I gotta go to California. Like I'm obsessed with California. I just love the way, other than the gang culture and then how niggas do out there, I love California. I love California's landscapes. I love I love Arizona's landscapes. I love Colorado. I just love seeing mountains. But we still got mountains here in upstate New York, literally. But I don't even care about them shits. Most of our prisons are built on mountains, but it's New York, so it's not foreign land to me. However, on a positive note, we still can go to fucking Canada. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can drive to Canada. Canada's 8 hours away from me. I never thought about doing that, but that's something to think about. To be in another country in 8 hours, I've never did that in my life in a car, ever. So that's something to put on the bucket list. Plane to go to Canada. Yeah, why am I gonna do that? Like maybe I should do it this way. So you have to being at the United States because we're united. I know it doesn't feel that way, and we have all these different countries all in one big pot in the United States coming here every day. You could learn a lot of culture in America, historically, the current situation, all the above. Everything is here, everything. So I think it's better to start by. I need to force myself to New York City, New York State, two different things. Um, Remember, I'm in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Even though PA is part of the tri-state with us technically, right? But they're not. You know what I'm saying? PA is PA, Pennsylvania, right? So, take it heed of that. Um, the thing is with RVs, the RV life is amazing. But again, you gotta really, be a lot of black people ain't really with that shit. Because white people are a little more edge. They live on the edge more than us, you know what I'm saying? But you may get lucky and go to a park with a RV park, but what happens if you got to do some real camping and then you got to fucking sleep in a tent and shit in the fucking damn woods? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just gonna have to get you a luxurious RV, which is gonna cost hella bread. Maybe you could rent one and get on the road. But who want to be on the road and driving 15 hours in that big shit? Only to be at a park. It really, like I said, it really depends on how far you're willing to go. You got RV parks in New York, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is with us, we always look further to experience something we could experience in our backyard. So you got to really understand that. Yeah, I could drive to Canada. Canada is 8 hours away. Legit. I can leave right now and be in Canada in 8 hours. Give 'em your passport and they let you right through. Yeah. Cartiona says, I lived in Florida and worked in hotel industry, city of Miami Beach. Yeah. Yeah, like Miami is like the destination that people go to when they want to experience Caribbean heat, Caribbean feel, is Miami. That's like the only place that I know of. But what other place down there in the South that you could have that feeling of the West Indies or the Caribbeans? You know what I'm saying? Men are drugged around. The men are drugged around. Yeah, them losers, like I said, they it's this obsession of them Latin prostitutes. And, they fucking and sucking dicks and all that, and these niggas are falling in love. Key West is official. But see, that's another thing, too. Like, Florida is just too much of the go-to. Like, in New York, this is all New Yorkers move to is the Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, and Florida. Like every fucking New Yorker, like niggas don't go to Vermont. We don't go to Rhode Island. We don't go to Massachusetts. It's pretty fucking sad. Like if you ask the average person right now, what does Massachusetts have to offer that's black? They probably gonna want to see where New Edition used to live, where Bobby Brown used to live, or to get a Boston Crustum cream donut. But let's just say, for example, if you wanted to know Cambodian culture, there's a big, huge Cambodian community in. Let's just say if a man says he wants a Cambodian woman, he doesn't have to He doesn't have to go to Cambodia to get it. What he needs to do, he has to get a Cambodian woman in the United States, and eventually they will fly there. So he has to go to certain parts of Brooklyn, big fucking community in Philly, because in Philly, niggas and Cambodians live together. It's wild. It's crazy weird out there. Philly's mad weird. One side of the fucking street is Cambodians, the other side is niggas in the hood. I'm talking the ghetto. If you want to take it a step further, this is all the tri-state area within my region. You go to Massachusetts. So you can learn a lot about culture elsewhere here because everybody's here. So there's a lot of she-males here and some men know engage in sexual activities. There's she-males everywhere. The internet changed that. There's she-males everywhere. 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 A lot of Cambodians are very dark. I had an ex-girlfriend that was Cambodian. I think they probably have one of the most amazing non-black cultures I've ever encountered in my life. But again, what about our African culture? You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like everything that's foreign to us, we find it to be a big deal. But yeah. It was amazing with them because, at least from my perspective, I never thought I would ever see Cambodians that talk to me about racism. Because I don't find nothing attractive about a light-skinned Asian at all. I think when Asians are my complexion, that shit is gangster. And they went through hell. Cambodians are dope. But remember, there's a lot of politics, a lot of shit. You learn. I'd never been to Cambodia. I had a chance, an opportunity to 2 times. I didn't do it. I regret it, but I learned a lot about the country from her. You know, in most cases, I would have never known what Cambodia was if it wasn't for us. So you have this ability here in America that's why I tell people all you gotta do is travel in the whole fucking damn country. Everything is here. There's no need to go anywhere. When people tell you I traveled around the world, well, it depends. If you're in the Navy, if you're in the Marines, you know, if you, I don't know, maybe you were merchant seaman, but it's not like it used to be. It's too much of airplay. See, you don't want to. What's the point of traveling and you got 2 wars going? That shit is just too dangerous. Like, it's just too risky. You want to be on the ground. I mean, you want to be up in the sky all the time. You traveling all these different things, and there's too much happening in this world. You know, in other words, you still can have the luxury of traveling in America. That could still be equivalent to traveling around the world. I'm telling you, it's the same shit. Don't let nobody fool you with that. America is massive. Like, there's too much to offer here. You can't visit America in a lifetime. It's almost impossible. How many people you know that visited every 50 state and did everything other than a celebrity? They don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. I know I don't want to take too much of your time, but goddamn. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day. Today was a beautiful day. It was. It was. And I'm happy for everybody that we just keep going, but embrace that. Embrace the truth. That truth will set you free. I'm telling you, you'll never take shit as personal as you taking it. I promise you. Cartel says, I worked in the hotel industry, especially on Sundays, early hours, bring she-males in their room. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what there's 2 things that I find to be, let me just say this before I go. These are 2 topics that annoy me so much. And it annoys me because it's so late. Like, people are talking. First and foremost, I believe people are obsessed with transsexuals and black men that wore dresses in Hollywood. I don't even understand which one has to do with the other. Like, for example, right? How do people find a trans woman attractive more than a woman? I don't understand the logic of all these beautiful women all around us. Who the fuck could even look at a damn... I don't get it, right? Okay, whatever. It's topic of discussion. It is what it is, right? Men in dresses in Hollywood. probably one of the dumbest fucking damn discussions I've ever heard. Ever. What is the point of worrying about what man wears a dress in a movie versus a nigga that fucked a man to get where he's at? Do you understand? Like, I don't understand. Oh, they did it to desensitize a man. Really? If he's playing in a dress, I don't get that. That's totally harmless. That's just stupid. Listen, it's more detrimental where, let's just use it this way. I got a better one for you. A man could live in his truth and still wore a dress in Hollywood as an actor. How can a man live in his truth when he had to subject himself to being a homosexual to become famous? Do you understand? Why do we care who wears a dress in Hollywood? How does that desensitize him if the other one had to give up his manhood? You're not giving up your manhood by being an actor, playing in a fucking dress. Big fucking deal. That's so stupid. Like you're trying to bring his manhood up into the game, and we just had a situation going on with Will Smith and fucking Dwayne Martin. That was more, you know what I mean? That fucking shook me up. Versus Flip Wilson and Bill Cosby had it. Who cares? I mean, that's the scandal? Oh, you selling out? No. You selling out when you have to give up your ass as a man. That's a sellout. I'm going to end it there. So that's why I tell people, what's the point? So at the end of the day, is it worse wearing a dress in Hollywood or worse giving up your asshole, let a nigga hit you blindfolding your asshole just for a fucking movie career? I'm sorry. I don't get it. I think I think the gay topics are just getting redundant and it's kind of overshadowing the woman. Like, a woman is the most amazing creature. One of God's best creations on a planet is a female woman. A woman. Like, it's just crazy to me. And social media has allowed now for everybody to have a platform, and that's the problem. So, this dumbest fucking thing. Talk about actors that wore a dress in Hollywood versus a nigga that had to wear a dress in Hollywood. You dig the difference? Is a big fucking difference. This shit is crazy. Y'all have a good night, man. I've been real. Y'all been real. I didn't think I was going to be here this long, but damn. A man falls in love through his eyes. A woman falls in love through her ears. Y'all have a good night. Please click the like button and share the video. Peace.